lovers, and welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be making a hexagon cardigan and a beautiful shell stitch, and I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about how to make this pattern and also how to avoid having ends to weave on every single color change. I don't know about you, but that can completely put me off of a project. So I'll show you how I carry the yarn up, and it's nearly invisible, and then you only have, your ends at the beginning, your ends at the end, and that's one side done. So I'm going to do the other side with you. To start, you're going to need your yarn. I'm using these two colors. These are Big Twist Living, so they're Joann exclusive. They're the Joann house brand, but you can use any color you want. These have 199 yards per skein, and they're a 4-weight. The suggested hook size is a 4.5 millimeter, but I'm going to use a 6. This helps it work out more quickly, gives it a better drape on the finished product, because shell stitch is very dense, so we want that extra little wiggle room there. To begin, you're going to make a circle. Now, people like to do this different ways. Some people do the magic ring, some people chain 4 and attach it with a slip stitch and work all of their stitches into that middle circle. What I prefer to do is make a slip knot and chain 2, and I work all of my stitches into the second chain from the hook. So for this first row, what we're going to do is place a double crochet, chain 1 12 times. So you're going to have 12 double crochets, 12 double crochets and 12 chain 1 spaces at the end of the first round. So there is 1 chain, 2 chain, 3 chain, and I'll meet you back when you have 12 double crochets and 12 chain 1 spaces. When you have finished with round 1, you'll have 12 double crochets and 12 chain 1 spaces. Don't forget your final chain 1 before you slip stitch to the first double crochet that you made. And I do apologize for using black yarn, but this project just called for it, so that's what we're using. So what we've essentially done is made 6 V-stitches. So we're going to work in the middle of the V-stitches, slip stitch over to that chain 1 space, and chain 1. Here you're going to place a single crochet. In the next chain 1 space, place 7 double crochets. Find the next chain 1 space and place a single crochet. Repeat this around, alternating single crochet, 7 doubles, single crochet, 7 doubles, single crochet, 7 doubles, all the way around, and I'll meet you back. When you get back around, you'll end with 7 double crochets in the last chain 1 space, and slip stitch into the first single crochet that you made. You'll notice that already it does not want to lay flat, and that is totally fine for a hexagon cardigan. They are made to be folded, so it's not going to lay flat. And you can even, at this point, fold it into a little L shape, and you know that you are on track already. You can do that little check. Make sure you have 6 sides. That's the key. Okay, so now that we're done with the first setup row, we're going to switch colors. So I have my new color here, and I'm just gonna leave a tail. I am the queen of leaving too long a tail, but better too long than not long enough. So I just pulled that through, and that's going to be my starting chain 1 to get up to the next row. So what we are going to do to carry these two colors, I'm going to grab my working yarn in this new color and place a double crochet into the same space where I attached with a slip stitch. But what's different, I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, and for the final, I am going to grab this yarn that I was previously working with and double strand it for my last yarn over, pull through 2. What that does is it brings the yarn from the previous section up to working stitch height. I'm not going to crochet over this. I'm going to leave it floating up at the stitch height. Grab this, and I'm still working with this color. So that one just hangs out behind. You will always have 2 balls of yarn attached to your project if you choose to switch colors this way. So we have our first double crochet made. What we need to do is chain 1, place a double crochet in that same space, and you can crochet over your tail of the new color, but do not crochet over the tail of the color that you brought up to height. So we have a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. We're going to chain 3. This is a corner, and do another V-stitch, which is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all in that same single crochet. So here's another V-stitch. And it is a little bit tight here at first, but it loosens right up as you keep working. There. All right, so that's our first corner done. Now we're going to chain 5 and skip all of these stitches and go over to this single crochet. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip the shell. In this single crochet, we're going to do the same thing. V-stitch, chain 3, V-stitch. So a V-stitch again is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. That's a V-stitch. Chain 3, and another V-stitch, all in that same single crochet. Chain 5, skip the shell, find the single crochet. We're going to place our corner again. V-stitch, chain 3, another V-stitch, when we're done with the second V, chain 5, skip the shell. Do this all the way around, placing a corner in each single crochet with a V-stitch, chain 3, V-stitch, and each single crochet around, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so when you come back around, the curling is even more intense. It wants to fold, that's fine. So we've done our final chain 5 between corner spaces, and we are going to place our double crochet or our slip stitch right here. Now if you don't use standing stitches a lot and you're used to chaining 3 and counting that as a double crochet, by all means do what you are comfortable with, but this is my method. This is what I always do. I always chain 1 to go into the next row, don't count the chain 1 as a stitch, and place my first stitch in the middle. So This is like a recipe, a pattern. You can do what you're most comfortable with and what you find success with, and that is totally fine because you are the artist. So again, here we need to slip stitch into this chain 1 space, and I am going to grab that black yarn, make sure that my slip stitch goes around it, and chain 1, because we need to bring this up another row so it's ready for us to use when we alternate back to the black section. So I have my chain 1. What I'm going to do in these V stitches is shell, so that's 7 double crochet, and I'll place a single crochet in the chain 3 space, and I'll show you what we'll do when we get to the shell. So for this first V stitch, we'll place 7 double crochet. And again, with the first one, we yarn over, pull through 2, then we grab that working yarn, give it a little tug so it's nice and tight, and we yarn over with both of them and pull through 2. That's how we're going to start it. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to leave it like that. So in the first one, I'm going to do just 1 of the double crochets for the shell, and we'll add the rest when we come back. We'll add 6 to that V stitch when we get back here. Like I said, we're just setting us up for the next row. Okay. But in all the other V stitches, we will place 7. So that's just the last of the 7 that will go in there. We're just setting ourselves up for this color change to be in the right spot on the next row. So do 1 double crochet, a single crochet in this first chain 3 space, and a shell of 7 double crochet in the next V stitch. Okay, so we have our 7 double crochet. For this part, we are going to count over 4 stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the middle of our 7 double crochet shell. We're going to place a single crochet into this 4th stitch around the chain 5. So all the way around it, single crochet. And then we're ready for our next shell of 7 double crochet in this V stitch. 7. A single crochet in the chain 3 space, and we're ready for our next shell in the V stitch. 7 double crochet there. We've come to our next chain 5 space and shell underneath, so we're going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4. We found the middle stitch of the shell. Place a single crochet in that, and make sure that you have this in the middle of your yarn, this chain 5 space. We place our single crochet around both, just like that, and we're ready for our next shell. So continue that pattern with a shell, single crochet, shell, always a shell in the V stitch, single crochet in the chain 3 space, and a single crochet in the 4th double crochet from the previous round around the chain 5 space. So continue that around, and I'll meet you when you're done. Okay, so we've come to the end of the round, and here we have this very lonely V stitch that only has 1 double crochet. So what we need to do is place 6 double crochets in that same V stitch to finish out our shell. So I have my single crochet, we'll place 6 double crochet in that same V stitch that we started in. And you'll see that that first one is like leaning over a little bit. That's perfect because that's what all the shells do. that last stitch leans over, the first stitch leans that way. It's perfect. So we just attach with a slip stitch. And then slip over into this single crochet. That will be the start of our next row. So I just slipped over. It's time to change color. So the next round of shells will be in this black. What we do, switch to this yarn, pull it through. That's our chain 1. Give it a nice little tug there. Tighten that up. That's pretty important. Make sure that you're not gonna have loops that'll warm out on you. Just give it a nice little tug. And so in this kind of hidden here single crochet, we are going to place another corner. Because we're in a corner, we're in the chain 3 space. So to do our corner, we're going to do a V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So in every corner, we're going to place a V-stitch, chain 3, V-stitch. So on our first double crochet, going to yarn over, pull through 2, grab our other yarn, yarn over with both, pull through the last 2. Now we leave this one alone. We don't want to crochet over it. We're trying to bring it back up to height so we're ready to work with it next time. All right, so it's the first double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, first V-stitch made, chain 3, V-stitch again, all into that same stitch, and we're going to chain 5, skip that, and come over to this first single crochet. Always chain 5, skip the shell on the V-stitch round. So this, we can see, is not a corner. This is a single crochet made into a previous shell. So for this, we just place a regular V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 5, skip the shell, and here we can see that we are in a corner, so we need another corner there, V-stitch, chain 3, V-stitch. And there's our corner made. So you'll always make a corner on top of this single crochet in the chain 3 space, and on the single crochets on top of shells, just place a V-stitch, chain 5, and skip the shells all the way around. I'll show you one more time. In this single crochet on top of a shell, regular V-stitch, just double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 5 and skip the shell. In the next corner, place a corner. That's a V-stitch, chain 3, V-stitch. And this is your repeat going forward. So on every row, it's going to increase at the corners. So you'll have more V-stitches, which aren't corners, per row. But it is all the same here. And like I said, we can already do our little check to to make sure we are on the right track. I've got 2 corners here, make them kiss. And there is an L shape. So we're going to continue that all the way around, placing a V-stitch, chain 3 V-stitch in the corners, a V-stitch on the single crochets on top of the shell with chain 5s in between. Do that all the way around and I'll meet you for the next round. Okay, so before everybody runs off like, okay, I get it, I understand the repeat, I do want to mention one thing. So I do all of my sizing based off the Craft Yarn Council sizing guide, which I will link in the description. And they have a measurement, it's measurement number 6 on their website. And this is going to give you the measurement for the upper arm. And this pattern is made with 1 inch of positive ease. That means whatever measurement you have, you're going to add 1 inch to it. So that will tell you how many repeats you need for the width. And keep in mind that this extra row of shells, this is actually a joining row. So that adds some ease there as well. So for me, I am like a small unisex or medium in women's. Looks like I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 repeats, and then the beginning, the row that we just ended on, the beginning of one before I seamed the shoulders. So this is going to be dependent on you, your size, or the size of the person who you are making this for. Highly recommend checking out the sizing guides, the standard sizing on Yarn Craft Council. They give you tips on how to measure yourself, and even plus sizes. They have guides for what the size is going to be. If you're making it for a surprise or something like that, just know that this pattern has 1 inch positive ease, and that will give you the measurement of how many rows you need to work. Because you can make this for a baby, for a toddler, for an adult, up to 5X. Craft Yarn Council has the guide on their website for sizing for that. So I will link that in the description box below. And we are going to continue this pattern for as long as you want to make it to the size of your arm. And that's when things will get a little bit different. We will seam the top shoulder and then work around for the front, bottom, and back until it is a comfortable size for you or for whoever you're working for. So whatever size you get on the Craft Yarn Council website, this length is going to be half of that. You'll get the measurement plus 1 inch. This one side, that will be half of your measurement, and that's when you will know that it is time to move on to the seaming. I just wanted to get that out of the way before people are like, yeah, I get it, and you end up with these great big balloon arms, because that's not what this pattern is. If that's your preference, that's fine too. But I'll show you this shell repeat one more time. So we are back into a V-stitch. I'm just going to chain over to that chain 1 space, working around the yarn from the previous color. Give it a tug, chain 1, place my double crochet, my first double crochet or last of the shell, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over with both colors, and pull through 2. Now we are still ignoring that color because we have not finished our shells yet. So we just place 1 double crochet there. We'll put the other 6 to make it 7 at the end, and that makes sure that your yarn that you're not working with is in the right place for the next repeat. Okay, so single crochet in the chain 3 space, shell, and the V-stitch. When your 7 double crochet are done, you're going to count over. Keep in mind this one can be hidden sometimes by the V-stitch, so you can count either direction as long as you get to 4. That'll be the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the middle double crochet. Place a single crochet around the chain 5 space, and you're ready for your next shell. 7 double crochet in the V-stitch. On to the next. 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet, and that's it. Really, you just repeat this pattern. Now I'm back to a corner. I'm going to shell, single crochet, shell, single crochet around the 4th of the shell, shell, single crochet, shell, single crochet, shell, and you'll repeat that all the way around. Okay, so just another reminder, when you get back to the beginning, you still need 6 double crochets in that V-stitch. So we'll do that here. Is a little bit tight, so that's normal. We're going to slip stitch into the first double crochet, slip stitch over to the single crochet, and switch our yarn color for a chain 1. This is where we will start our next corner with a V-stitch, chain 3 V-stitch, chain 5 V-stitch, chain 5 V-stitch, chain 5 corner. So you will complete this pattern, just keep repeating it until you get to the size that you need. So since I have already done one side, I know that I need 3 repeats of the colored section before I am ready to work on joining. So like I said, go to the Craft Yarn Council and figure out what size you are, and measure your shell, because you know that's going to vary based on personal tension, gauge, what size hook you're using, what size yarn you're using. I mean, you could use a fingering weight for this tutorial and it would still work as long as you get it to the right size. I'm not going to give you like a row count or whatever that you need to follow for the different sizes, because it's just so personal to the artist who is making it. So go ahead and, you know, measure that shell. If your shell is 1 inch and you need your arms to be 12 inches, accounting for the 1 inch of positive ease, so like 11 inches plus the 1 inch of ease, you're going to continue this until your side is 6 inches, and keep going like that. And I will meet you back when we are ready to talk about joining the arm, the shoulder seam, and working along 3 sides instead of 6 sides.